Ja, ich bin's wieder. Okay, so neue heran. Hier mit meinem Let's Play von Ace Attorney Investigations Prosecutor's Path. Beim letzten Mal, nach meiner kleinen... Oh Gott. Ja, wie soll ich das sagen? Müden Phase. Und der Bombe, die gedroppt wurde, dass John, der Sohn von verstorbenen Präsidenten von St. Far ist. Ja gut, jetzt ist er weggelaufen und ich kann es nicht verübeln. Manu. April 4:51 Uhr, outside Grand Tower, temporary film boat. John. So that guy was my dad. He found out about his own birth so suddenly. And furthermore, his newfound father is no longer in this world. I'd always been searching for my dad. John. I get it, alright? He's the president. I know it's a complicated situation. But we even met face to face during the filming. So then, why? Huh? Why didn't you tell me who he really was? I'm sorry, John. Mom, you don't need to apologize, no matter how you look at it. It's all my fault. Yesterday I broke my promise with you and didn't even notice the fire on the roof. So I destroyed everything. I crushed it all. My dad, and those flowers that my mom carefully grew. John, please, for now, just don't think about anything. Just stay like this for a little while. Just for a little while, okay? A bond between a parent and child. That's the meaning behind lion lilies. I know it's not my style, but that flower is from St. Far. However, we have no means of protecting that bond. Agent Lang, allow me to say this. The case won't be solved by sentimentality alone. Therefore, shouldn't we do all that we can to solve it? Yeah, you're right. The recreation of the past has finished. Were your father's deductions correct? My old man took his deductions to the grave. He never told anyone about them. So, who knows if they were right or not? In that case, what about your own deductions? I would like to hear what you think happened based on the recreation. In order for us to get closer to the truth of 12 years ago. Yeah, well, I've been thinking about. It's about time. I can see it now. My old man's back. Real close. I'll catch up to him for sure. Aww. To the truth that my old man uncovered. Okay, los geht's. There's no mistake that the president went to the orphanage. The stuffed toy is proof of that. He was planning to meet with Amy Marsh. However, the president was kidnapped, and Cameron just happened to witness it. If Cameron hadn't been there, it probably would just been a kidnapping with no murder. Afterwards, the body was moved to the flower beds and a fake photo was taken. Was that what really happened 12 years ago? Na gut, ein bisschen Update geleistet. However, there's one thing I still don't get. Something you don't get? It's this. Why did they need to take a fake photo? Why would they go through all that trouble and even make the president take part in the photo? That's true. However, the answer to that riddle must lie somewhere within. Once we get past the layers upon layers of deductions, we shall surely reach it. Yeah, that's right. I'd like to hear your deductions as well. Oh yeah, sehr gerne. Entkräftung! Truth of the SS5 incident. Na dann. If Cameron hadn't been there, it probably would just been a kidnapping with no murder. Naja, sehe ich etwas anders, denn... Wo haben wir das denn? Oh, Feuer, Tschüss. Hier, man weiß nicht, von wem hier das Blut gehört, weil von Cameron ist es nicht. If the eyewitness, Cameron, had not been there, no murder would have taken place. Is that really the case? The criminal's goal was only to kidnap the president. If there were no witness, there would have been no need to commit murder, right? And what if Cameron wasn't the only one who was murdered? There was a large bloodstain near the flower beds. However, Cameron was murdered. Near the snowman. Ergo, this bloodstain could not have belonged to Cameron. Someone else's blood was spilled. And quite a vast amount at that. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor. Do you have any idea what you're saying? I do. It's hard to believe, however, that is what the evidence indicates. On that night, 12 years ago, there were 2 murders. Are you saying that the other murder was covered up? Who the heck could have been killed? A murder that was cleverly concealed. All traces of it were erased. And the incident itself was completely deleted from the case files. However, there's one thing. One piece of evidence that still remains intact after 12 years. This piece of evidence shows that something happened that night. Ah ja, wir haben ja immer noch hier diese Kinderzeichnung. Und wenn wir uns halt diesen einen Mann neben dem Präsidenten angucken, der sieht doch ziemlich verdächtig aus. Und vor allem so vertraut. The other murder incident was buried in the dark by Blaze the Best. However, there is still one piece of evidence that remains. Agent Lunn. It's survived by your father's hands. My old man, you say? Please recall. There was one more thing that was hidden along with the traces of the murder. And that is the existence of the boy who caused the fire. Why did Blaze make the boy disappear? It's because he saw something that he wasn't supposed to see. What was the thing he wasn't supposed to see? Everything is drawn in this picture. The drawing my old man had. The person drawn on the right is most likely the president. The Mozilla doll is also drawn near him. And the person standing opposite him is... Ja, wer ist das wohl? Of course, Ciaran Dogan. Mit der wunderschönen Berufsbezeichnung Auftragskiller. A man with a knife and a large black dog. He is none other than Ciaran Dogan. What? The assassin? Why would an assassin appear before a president? The answer is clear. Indeed, what occurred that night on their orphanage grounds 12 years ago was not a kidnapping. It was a presidential assassination! Then Miss Rowland and Mr. Blaze were... Yes, the two were likely partners in crime. One furnished the orphanage to use as the scene of the incident, and the other covered up the young boy's testimony. It's likely that Mr. Cameron was murdered because he witnessed the assassination itself. After all, the kidnapping never actually happened. Stop messing around! You're saying that the president was assassinated 12 years ago? We just found his body today! He's been alive up until now! That's right! I mean, we met him ourselves! If the president was assassinated 12 years ago and the president's body was found today, that would imply there were two presidents. Yeah, that can't be right! Are you sure about that? There's a possibility that there were two presidents. That's right. Up until now, I've been getting a strange feeling from the president. Even so, I still respect the man. St. Paul is a small country, but he carried the nation with his strength. The image of President Huang that Agent Lang described. You are wrong. He revealed his true form. Differs far too greatly from the President Huang we knew. It's as if they were two entirely different people. If there were in fact two Sangfa presidents, exactly how would such a scenario be possible? What would make the existence of the two presidents possible? Was haben wir? Wie wäre es denn mit einem Body-Double? If you were to assume that one of them was a body double, wouldn't it be possible then? A body double! President Huang possessed immense power and authority in Sangfa. I'm sure there were those who envied his position and made attempts on his life. Yes, just as he was attacked a few days ago at Gourd Lake. It's true, there were those who sought Huang's life from time to time. But I can't easily believe there were two presidents. At least, not without any evidence. Do I have evidence that proves there were two presidents? So, Entschuldigung. Na, lass doch mal hier reingucken. Xiu Huang was kidnapped and blah 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 12 years ago. Kidnappers Guy Long Lang and confirmed that the evening of the incident, the president was at the Sangfa embassy until midnight. At midnight, the court did. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Has Agent Lang not noticed this contradiction? Or has he noticed it but can't admit it? What is it, Mr. Prosecutor? Don't shout something out only to suddenly clam up. According to the recording on the doll, the president visited the orphanage at midnight. However, that should not have been possible. Huh? Why's that? Why? Because at the time, the president should have been at the embassy. He was together with Agent Lang's father. So, Agent Lang, you really did notice. He was in two places at the same time. Ergo, there must have been two presidents. Then, which of them two was the real president on that day 12 years ago? Most likely the one who died. Who? Who contracted Dogen to murder Huang? In order to learn that, first, we must have a look at the evidence that we proved was false earlier. And the piece of evidence we know to be false is... Na, das ist ja immer noch nach wie vor dieses Foto. Das ist ja nur gestellt. The photo taken with Cameron's camera was taken after he was murdered. And he was murdered because he witnessed the presidential assassination. In other words, the photo must have been taken following the assassination. Given that, who is the president pictured in the fake photo? We must consider him to be the body double. In other words, the body double had the real president murdered and then took his place. Patricia Rowland and Blaze must have cooperated in that plan. Hold it! Huang's body was never found. Just where could it have disappeared to? The answer to that is already quite apparent. This is where the real president's body was. Nun ja, Dingsbums. Nach was hat Blaze nochmal gesucht? Last night there was something Blaze had to unearth with his own two hands. That item was not the ransom. It was something far more important. Ah, so Blaze unburied the real president's body. The possibility is quite high. What you say? The bones from the body buried 12 years ago would have still remained. According to Mr. Powers, constructions was to begin soon at this load. That was the deadline. Both for the movie and retrieval of the body. Because they would have found the body when they started the construction! Agent Blunt, let us search the footprints that Blaze dug up. Yeah. If the body was buried there, there'd be traces of it. Hey! Somebody call forensics! Okay. I have the results of the search. Handy halt's Maul. Okay. We found traces in the dirt that suggests a body was buried here. So it was Huang after all. We also recovered the skeletal remains that Blaze the Best dug up. They were in his home. In addition to the bone structure, the dental records and the bone fractures all match up. We can confirm that it was indeed President Huang. So the real president was indeed killed 12 years ago. The SS5 incident was a murder. Dann stellt sich jetzt noch die Frage, dieser Doppelgänger. Wer war das denn jetzt eigentlich? Und wer hat den jetzt umgebracht? Und wieso?
So, the SS5 incident was actually a murder incident. But there's so much information, it's way too confusing.
Indeed, let us take this opportunity to review the details of the case.
First, the real president came to the orphanage, right?
12 years ago. The true President Huang visited the orphanage in order to meet his son. The footsteps in the snow that we thought belonged to Mr. Cameron were most likely made by the President at that time. President Huang was supposed to meet his son here. However, the one who actually showed up was the assassin, Siron Dogan.
He came here to meet his son, but was murdered instead. How horrible.
A man like Dogan shows no mercy. And after that, the second tragedy occurred.
You mean Mr. Cameron's murder?
Indeed, Mr. Cameron saw the decisive moment. After the real president was killed by Dogan, his body was carried to the rear courtyard by the team of kidnappers. Mr. Cameron must have witnessed that moment from the orphanage entrance. although he himself believed that he had actually witnessed the kidnapping. Furthermore, by this time,
the body double who had come to meet up with Blaze and Miss Rowland was already standing behind Mr. Cameron.
And then the witness to the incident, Mr. Cameron,
was killed by the body double. So, was Mr. Cameron's corpse also carried by the body double?
Yes, that seems likely.
But there wasn't anything at the crime scene that looked like body double's footprints.
I've already figured out how he accomplished that. There's a piece of evidence that would made it possible. What did the body double use to move the body without leaving any footprints? Moment, gleich habe ich's. Hier. Die Schuhe des Opfers. This is almost certainly how the body double carried Mr. Cameron's corpse. After Mr. Cameron was killed, the president's body double carried him into the middle of the garden. I suspect the body double was wearing the same shoes as the real president at the time. If he made sure to step precisely on top of the footprints left by the real president.
Ah, since the shoes were the same! There would only be one set of footprints left behind in the snow. I think I've got a pretty good grasp on the SS5 incident now. But there's still one thing I don't get.
What's that?
Why did they need to stage the abduction?
Because Mr. Cameron witnessed the incident. He saw the president at the orphanage. He left behind witness testimony on Miss Crane's answering machine. Even Blaze couldn't make that disappear. Ergo, the body double needed a reason for the president to have been at the orphanage.
And that's why they prepared the fake kidnapping charade.
The people in the fake photo are the body double and most likely Patricia Rowland.
The person in the coat is Miss Rowland? What makes you say that?
The two would have to leave the orphanage in order to take the picture. Just like when he moved the body, the double used the real president's footprints.
Ah, so the second set of footprints must belong to the person in the coat.
Indeed. We originally believed that those footprints belonged to Cameron's killer. There were size 7 footprints, too small for Blaze's feet. Thus, we can presume that the person playing the part of the kidnapper was Patricia Rowland. Hidden in the shadow of the presidential kidnapping was a presidential assassination. I see. So that's why my old man... Why he... what? The old man must have realized that a murder had taken place. After all, he had the kid's drawing. However, that picture was never presented as evidence. Your father likely took it from the young witness during the investigation and hid it. He had to have known that Huang was dead. But what if he had revealed that back then? He revealed the death of the president, the backbone of Sengfa? It would have caused chaos. And that's why my old man took the secret to his grave. He even took the blame for the kidnapping, knowing that would be the fall of the House of Lang. So this is the truth that Agent Lang's father hid 12 years ago.
And now it's all become clear.
Ui. Okay, eine unbekannte Stimme. Angst. Aber dann wollen wir es für diesen Tag erstmal belassen. Oh Gott, das waren schon viele Informationen. Und noch mehr Bomben, die gedroppt sind. Und Alter. Darauf erstmal einen Ehrenschluck. Es bleibt spannend. Egal ob positiv oder negativ, Bewertung immer gern gesehen. Das war's von meiner Seite und wir sehen uns das nächste Mal wieder. Sehr geil.